So we all grew up hearing the term, don't judge a book by its cover. You're taught that from the time you're a little kid. I know I've heard it a million times. A lot of it related to when you meet people, right? It's a lot of get to know somebody before you start casting judgment on them. It also leads down into, only God can judge, or you can't judge people who, throwing stones and glass houses, all that kind of stuff. But the biggest one is don't judge a book by its cover. And that goes for, obviously it goes for books, right? That's where it starts. Taking a deeper dive and a deeper, closer look at things before you start casting doubt on whether it's for you or not. And that's true. It is true. I can't tell you, there's been movies that, the marketing sucked, the cover sucked, and I've watched it, and it's an awesome movie. Music, books, media, same thing, and that is certainly true. And I have also had that experience with people. First impressions mean a lot. They mean, a lot of people conversely will tell you first impressions mean everything, right? So it kind of contradicts a little bit. But, you meet somebody on a surface level and they're, look like an underwhelming person, I guess, and then you get to know them and, they turn out great. They change your life or whatever the case may be. It happens. It for sure happens. And I think there's a lot of merit to that statement because of this. Don't judge a book by its cover. I do think you should give people a chance, get to know people, and don't just look at somebody and be like, because we all got flaws, right? I have been overweight myself, so you know what I mean. I know what my personality is, and I know what my strengths, my weaknesses are, and I know that somebody who would, like, if somebody did judge me by my weight, which I'm sure they have, when I was overweight and out of shape, did not take the time to get to know me. That's, it is what it is. I can accept that. And I'm not saying, that you should do that. You should go around and be like, oh, this person's overweight, I don't want anything to do with them. You know what I mean? Because that could be somebody who brings value to your life for sure, and that is someone you could even help on their journey, and help motivate them to make a change in their life. And it goes with just about everything. And you can get to know pretty quickly what somebody's about, and sometimes you can pick out, like, this guy, he talks a lot of, after getting to know him, talks a lot of shit about other people and stuff like that. I don't want to get to know that person. Or I've already caught him in like a couple lies or something like that after getting to know somebody. Like, if you meet somebody and they're immediately talking shit about somebody else for no reason, or they're lying to you right off the bat, or things like that, just you can often tell when something's off about somebody. And some of us have a pretty good intuition about that, and some of us actually don't. But that's just kind of the way it is. But do I agree that you should not judge a book by its cover? Oftentimes, yeah. Because there's a lot of times you might just be catching somebody on a bad day. You might just be, you might have just caught them at a downer kind of a moment or something like that, where things are a little off. And, I think just about everybody deserves a second chance, like I said, unless they do some huge red flag type situation right off the rip. I think it's okay to keep trying, give somebody another shot, and not, cast final judgment until you've gotten, some experience with them, or gotten to know them, got some knowledge on them, and kind of figure out what they're about. Which leads me to the point of this video, and that is, do not approach life like everybody is extending that same courtesy to you. Don't go out there and walk around assuming that everybody is not judging you by as a book by its cover, right? That first impressions do matter, and that is what everybody's that's what everybody's judging you by, or so yeah, oftentimes you will go out there and people will, same thing, give you a second chance or whatever. Sometimes you will find that's the case, but don't expect it very often. I think we live in a world today, society now, people are very short attention spans and fickle and distrusting, and I could sit here all day and make a list of all the things that people are or are not now, and the reasons why you should not give them the opportunity to be able to judge you negatively by the first impression, to judge yourself as a book by its cover. Now, this is not me telling you that you need to be walking out of your house every day just to go to the grocery store dressed to the nines or anything like that. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not one of those guys. I'm in a t-shirt and shorts right now talking to you. I'm not wearing a suit and tie. I am not wearing, a full-on linen outfit in the Florida heat. I am not like sharp dressed man over here at any given moment. I do relax and be comfortable and things like that. But if you looked at me head to toe, I don't look like a total scumbag right now either. My hair is combed, my hygiene's on point, I'm always clean, fresh coat of deodorant on, brushed my teeth religiously, my clothes are clean, wrinkle free, you know what I mean? I'm relaxed for sure. I'm dressed very casually, but I'm not out in gym shorts, slides, barbecue stain on my t-shirt, hair just all a mess, all over the place. Haven't showered or brushed my teeth in a day or two. None of that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, like I said, that you got to go out in full-on business attire every time that you leave your house. You can be relaxed. I think that's reasonable. But I'm just saying, going out looking like an absolute bum and like you just do not give an F about yourself or anything else or who you meet, who you might run into, that's a totally different story. Because I guarantee you, the day you walk out of your house and you look, just that one off chance, you look like absolute shit, and you just look and feel terrible, you smell bad, whatever the deal is, your clothes are dirty, you just throw on last night's dirty ass clothes or whatever you do. I don't do any of that stuff. I can't leave my house without showering and having clean clothes on and looking like I'm alright. Maybe that's the way I was raised. But some of you guys, man, it's unbelievable. But the day you do that is like, and you'll never know it. You won't know it. But you might bump into somebody important who could possibly change your life in some way, who would be interested in talking to you, whether that's like a romantic thing or a potential like friend that's very like could be very business minded and stuff like that. All this kind of stuff. There's always an opportunity. Every time you walk out of your doorstep, every time you open your front door, step outside and leave your neighborhood, there's a chance you can bump into somebody to change your life. That, if you're looking for opportunity, that chance is never zero. Okay. And if you go out and you look like you don't give a rat's ass about yourself, and you're just not put together at all, you look like absolute shit, and obviously you present yourself like somebody who has no self-respect whatsoever and not a care in the world about what anybody out in the world thinks about them, no one's going to want to give you the time of day. And I know I'll get rebuttals from this. No one's going to sit here and tell me how I can and can't be comfortable. what I have to wear and all this. I'm not one of those channels. It's like, if you're a man over 40, you better not walk out of the house without khakis and loafers and a polo shirt and all this kind. I'm not that dude. I'm 44 years old. I live in a laid-back beach state. You know what I mean? I live in vacation. You know, that's the way I describe it. You know, I don't go on vacation. I live there, right? And I dress like it. And I'm a laid-back guy. I grew up in the Southwest, that Southern Arizona, California environment and stuff like that. Being laid back and presenting myself laid back has always kind of been who I am. I've never been a get dressed up unless the situation dictates it kind of guy. I'm not telling you that you need to be dressed up all the time. I will reiterate that numerous times through this video, because there's inevitably going to be some dude getting all in his feels and getting defensive down in the comment section about me trying to tell them how they need to be dressed up all the time. That's not this at all. I'm just saying, make sure you don't look like shit. Make sure that you are presentable. Make sure that you're groomed and that you're hygienic and that your clothes are clean and that your shoes aren't falling apart, and maybe that you're not 50 pounds overweight. That goes with your health too. Things that you should be doing anyway. You know what I mean? Because there are people out there, believe it or not, who will judge you for being overweight. Clutch your pearls now. I'm not saying I'm one of them, but those people exist. You know what I mean? And you can sit there and be mad at them all day. That's not the way they should be, and blah, blah, blah. No. Well, at the end of the day, you can sit there and feel bad about it. That's the way it is. You know what I mean? And I would just rather keep myself on the chessboard and in play, and keep myself presentable in a way that, a lot of... I'm the first guy to tell you I don't give a shit what most people think about me. You know what I mean? If my personality's not for you and things like that, that's fine. There's nothing I can do about that. But I'm at least going to pass the eyeball test for most people. And there's people who look at me and probably think, screw this guy. I don't want nothing to do with him. That's fine. Maybe I look like an asshole. I don't know. But I'm at least always going to try and pass the eyeball test. I'm at least always going to have people look at me and be like, well, this dude's not a slob, and this guy kind of looks like he has his shit together and he's going about life okay. You know what I mean? I'm probably not gonna walk out of my, walk into a store like I'm shopping at Publix or whatever, and then people are like, oh, look, a millionaire is amongst us. I'm not giving off that vibe. I know that. You know what I mean? That's not what I am. If I was, I'd be pretending to be something I'm not. You know what I mean? And I'm also not about that. But I at least want people to look at me and be able to say, you know what, this guy probably has something to offer somebody. You know what I mean? He's at least put together enough that I can tell that his life is not falling apart. And because you never know when opportunity is going to present itself. I do not care about being liked. I am not out here looking for validation and things like that. But like I said, when opportunity knocks, I'd like to be able to answer and not disqualify myself from that opportunity based on the way I'm presenting myself. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not out here, once again, telling you guys to be rocking your Sunday vest every time you step out of the house to go buy milk at the store, or to run to the gas station to buy a lotto ticket or whatever the hell you're doing, picking your kids up from school, whatever. And that's for you single guys, especially for you. I am not one of those guys. You know what I mean? But for you single dudes, that goes double for you. How could you not walk out of your house looking the best you can, because you don't know who or what you're going to run across out there. 90% of you are too scared to go up and even talk to somebody anyway, so a lot of the stuff I'm saying is moot until you fix that. But how could you not want to look your best every time you walk out of your house? I guarantee you walk out of your house looking like shit, you're going to run into some girl who's, a 9 or 10, like, who will know whatever, but however you want to do it, who just dumped her boyfriend and she's looking for a rebound fast. And who better than you? Oh, wait, but you got your slides on, you got your basketball shorts you've been wearing for 3 days, they're way oversized, you got a stain on your shirt, you just threw a hat on, forgot to put deodorant on, you look like shit, you're off the board, man. That's just the way it goes, fair or not. Don't judge a book by its cover. That's what we've been told our whole life. Well, people do it anyway. So, you can sit and you can cry about it and not get an opportunity because you didn't present yourself correctly. You can still go through life with that mentality. I'm not telling you not to do that either. You know what I mean? You should extend that courtesy, give that opportunity to somebody else. Give everybody a shot of redemption. I'm just saying, don't expect that back at you. Live your life like you're the only person who has that mentality, and you'll be all right. You won't miss an opportunity based on your appearance and the way you're presenting yourself and your hygiene and stuff like that. And if you are a guy who wants to walk out dressed up all the time, that's fine. You know what I mean? Just don't go to like a situation where it's weird. That can be off-putting to people, but you want to dress appropriately for every situation. I'm not in the business of doing like how to dress videos. I'm not going to get all into that. I'm hitting my time anyway. There's a lot of channels out there that'll tell you how to dress and present yourself and groom yourself and be hygienic as a man. And maybe I will do some videos on that, because some of you guys, I'm absolutely appalled and shocked when I go out in public the way some dudes are now. Like, I'm sure they were out there when I was a kid too, guys that just like, they smell bad and just go out looking like they just don't have a care in the world. It's not just guys, there's women out there doing the same shit. You know what I mean? But I just don't remember it being as bad as it is the way I see it now. Maybe I'm just more alert to it, in tune to it. I don't know. You guys tell me, was it always like this? Because I just don't remember. But all I'm saying is don't look like shit. Don't judge a book by its cover, but don't act like people are going to extend that same courtesy to you. That's summing it up. The too long didn't read version, the bottom line up front, as we say in the military. So that's basically what it is. Hit like, hit subscribe, share this video with a friend, hit me up, leave a comment, let me know what you guys need some help on. More to come, setting some other things up that I'll hopefully be able to let you guys know about. Just trying to grow this thing and try to give some fatherly or big brother, whatever kind of advice, and help you guys navigate life while I navigate it myself. So that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.